Hello and welcome back to Holopon Solo Sagas. So today we are playing, what episode is it? Sixth. Our sixth episode will probably be 10 of these. It gives us enough time to have a good old play. Of Orc Borg. Yes, awesome Orc Borg. Orc Borg. Very pretty book. I find, somebody mentioned this about Pirate Borg, about the art in Pirate Borg. I think all of the Borg books are works of art. I have cyborg sitting there, and there's Mork Borg. I haven't seen a couple of the ones like there's Orc Borg. Actually, I've seen the PDF of Orc Borg, and that's pretty cool. But the actual physical books just have something about them. The artwork and the layout is awesome. The guy Roll Ink Uns who does the layout for Orc Borg, that is some cool artwork. He does some other illustration stuff. It's pretty cool stuff. You should have a look, check it out. Anyway, our three orcs have come into the Maiden's Lament, which is the elf ship which is mashed into the Derelict. We have Mork of the Nosebiter with his power rig. We have Grok, the Devourer of the Dreaded Geese. He's wearing his heavy armour. And we also have our priest, Zorlog, Bony Gravy Beard. He is our priest, or Yell priest, who is with us, who can pop people's heads. I think he couldn't use that, but I've decided that during this he can use that. He's not actually successfully used his priestly powers yet. They are all very much melee based. They have no ranged weapons between them. They have just come into the Maiden's Lament, and they are sidling around. They found this great big, almost the first thing they walked into was it was an ambush and then a special area. And they were moving about, backing out into this area, powering, as you like. And all of a sudden, maybe, what was this? Grok? No, it's Zorlog. Mork, of course. Mork backs into something, reaches out and goes, "Do you know, lads, there's something very big and squishy, very big, and very squishy behind me over here." And they all turn around, and there is a Goo Walker. A Goo Walker is a demon, because what we did is we rolled for the area's contents, and we came out with demon / bizarre creature. So if you get the bizarre creature entry, you can just basically dig around all of your Borg books, because I assume you must have Mork Borg, surely, and there's all the supplements for Mork Borg. We should play Mork Borg again because I've got all the supplements. And then there's Cyborg, anything that is weird and bizarre. And if you don't have any of those, I assume you must have Orc Borg, because it's Orc Borg. It's brilliant. You should definitely go and purchase it. Great. If you can't get it in print, it's very difficult to get in print. Get it printed because it looks great. Anyway, there is demons in there, and we got the Goo Walker. So they get there and they turn around, and there is the Goo Walker with its multiple arms. The Goo Walker has got 3-4 arms. It's wielding these blades, carnage blades, and what looks like a piece of pipe with teeth. And he's wearing black steel armor. It will let out. It's got multiple eyes, massive teeth, dripping goo. It's got a belt made of hands. Do you know, Rolling Ink Uns? Your drawings are awesome. I wish I could draw like this. And it roars and charges at the three of them. So we will give them a initiative. Who's got the best agility out of all of them? Zorlog, the Bone Gravy Beard, their Yell Priest, will step forward and attempt to get a 12 for initiative. He's got +1, so he needs to roll an 11. A 16 means a 17. So our lads, our second batch of lads, the first batch of lads died to some dog beasts. They just got overpowered. He's going to attempt to pop this Goo Walker's head. The max damage he can do is 10. The Goo Walker has 16 hit points and a morale of 10, so there's not much chance of this. So he is going to say, "I defy ye! Get back, you beast of syntax." He's got a presence of 3. He needs to roll a presence test of 12, which means he needs to roll at least 9. If he fails, he takes 2 points of damage, and I'll make him another presence test. If he fails the second presence test, that's it for the day. 9 plus 3 is 12. He screams, he points at the goo beast. The goo beast ripple goes through the goo beast, and it takes 9 points of damage straight through. No, nothing to do with armor, dropping it down to 7 hit points. I reckon that's fine. I don't think a spell which makes your head, like basically goo starts to come out of his ears and his eyes as his brain has just attempted to explode, but the demonic bone skull has held the brain in place. I don't think armor would help that, would it? That was Zorlog. Zorlog did that. Power rig. He's only got a knife. He's just got a D4 point knife, but he's got a massive power rig, which means that he's at 16 to hit. So young Mork, who loves being in the power rig because what he desperately wants is to get back into the big bot that he got torn out of because the big bot got destroyed. He's covered in scars from being in the big bot. He's got a +3 strength, but he's got to roll 16, so he's got to roll 13 to charge forward with his D4 knife and attempt to stab up the goo beast. That's a D8, that's a D10, that doesn't help at all. He rolls a 10, +3 is a 13, that is not a hit. So he comes forwards and there's all the blood obviously is gouging out of his eyes and its nose as I described. So he slips a bit on the ground and doesn't quite get his cut in. Grok, who's wearing heavy armour with an auto-mangular. Grok only has one hand. His other hand has had a cutter implemented when he was captured by some humans whilst he was out on a raid. And they were wild humans, hateful humans, cut his hand off and replaced it with a cutter because they thought it was funny. I mean, it was funny, but I mean, who's laughing now? They probably still are. So he has got an auto-mangular, which is strapped onto the front of his heavy armour. It's a two-handed weapon, but he only has one hand, which means it's a DR 16 to attack. He has a strength of 0 and his attack is at -1, so it's actually a DR 17. He strides, it does D12 damage, it will absolutely mangle it. A natural 1, okay. A natural 1 means, I believe, he might lose that, the mangler might just fall apart. Hold on, let me check. Oh God, so much pressure. Oh mate, lose your weapon, it is as well. 20, critical hit, fumble, 1. All right, so the auto-mangular makes a grinding noise and it breaks. I'm going to say it will need 2 DR12 presence tests and some parts to fix. So the mangler's dead. As are they probably, because the Goo Walker, they're all 3 straight. Goo Walker is big. It's as big as this table. Can you see the table? This table. It's about this big. Can you see my hands? No, you can't. It's that big, and it's dripping goo, and all blood and stuff's coming out of its eyes, and it's screaming so loud that I won't do it because it'll put the neighbours off. They're too busy playing slightly strange Disney music on a Hammond organ. You can actually, that's actually what they do at lunchtimes. I think they work from home, as I do. Well, when they give me any work. It's still not come through yet. And then it's on hold. It's worse. I mean. I would expect many of you may have been made redundant, which sucks. It's awful to be made redundant. But I think if they could just tell me, is it going to happen or not, it would be better than just hanging me for like 5 weeks now saying, oh no, we don't know yet. No, it's being put, they're not giving me any work and I can't, like, there's no point in me finding another job yet because I don't know whether I've lost this one. That's probably what they're doing, isn't it? Anyway, sorry, I digress. You don't care about this stuff. Or are them playing weird Disney music on Hammond organ. It's very weird princess music they're playing, and it's not. It's a couple of fellas live next door, so it's not that they've got some little. Anyway, the goo monster is going to stride in and try and hack them all up. It does a D3 damage. D3 attacks. So it's going to do 2 attacks. It will attack. We've got. Zorlog went first, didn't he? Zorlog the priest went first, and then we had Mork, and then we had Grok. So we'll go 1, 2. So Zorlog gets hit first. Who gets hit with the second one? 3, 4 is Mork. Mork and Zorlog. So Zorlog is going to attempt to get hacked up. Zorlog has an agility of +1, as it comes forward with its massive, what's it, blade? It's a something blade. Carnage blade. Massive carnage blade. Zorlog dodges to the side and says, "Oh, that was close, and I'm going to destroy you." And then we have Mork is going to attempt with his power rig. Mork is going to try and dodge to the side. Mork's going to have to do a 16, isn't he? Because he's got a +4 DR at everything because he's wearing a massive power rig. He can't dodge out of the way. 15. Oh, he's got a +0 agility. So sadly, he gets hit. It does a D10 damage, does the power blade, and he has 4 coming off for the power rig. So 3 points of damage, which 2 points are deflected by the rig, meaning 1 point goes through. He is dropping to 7 hit points as he takes a bruise to the right cheek as the goo wants to wax it with the hilt of the sword. Spittle flies out in front of them. They're all blown back as it roars with rage, and they all get to go again. Zorlog, Zorlog gonna use his two-handed smasher to mash it up. He's gonna crack one of his fungus hoochies. He's gonna drink that. He's gonna scream for the antifreeze god, and then he's gonna try and smash it with the smasher instead of doing the head pop powers 2 times. Though that might be a good idea because he's not got any strength at all. But he does have +1 to attack. It does a D6 damage. He's going to try and mash it. He's going to try and show his orcish overpoweringness, and he's going to try and whack it. He gets a 10. He does hit it, but it just cracks off of its black steel armour. Huge sparks fly up in the air, catching fire to some of its blood, which is of course flammable because it's a demon, and does bugger all else. Mork, with his little D4 dagger, is going to step forward and go, "I really hate it!" with the power rig. "Give me a big bot." He needs to roll. He needs to roll 13s, doesn't he? No, he's slashing madly and just pushing at it, and its rippling flesh is just rippling. And Grok, with his broken automangler, is going to dump that to the ground, rev up his left hand. Let's make it his left hand. Lefty defty. He's going to start revving up his left hand, which is a cutter blade, and he's going to start swinging and try and hit it. He's -1 to attack. He's got a strength of 0, which means he has to roll 13s. Come on. Natural 20? Holy heck. So he does 2d6 damage. He's got 7 hit points left, but he does have a d6 armour. So actually, if I say the 2d6 of the oranges and the green is the armour. So 6 points come off, 7 points go on, which means 1 point goes through. It goes down to 6 hit points. It grinds through the steel. There's sparks coming off. There's the smell of metal. Have you ever used one of those grinders to grind metal or like a Dremel or something? There's that smell of the burning metal as you burn through. And he's grinding and he's grinding. Oh, left hand. Grinding and he's grinding and he's grinding. And just a little bit of the blade obviously goes through and nicks the flesh, doing 1 point damage. And as gout of blood comes spraying out, because it's very cinematic, it's I can't, you know, like a horror film where lots of blood goes everywhere. More blood comes out of the body than could possibly be in it. And it comes gouting out, forcing him back out of gouts of blood. As the goo monster is then going to scream and do its D3 attacks. 3. It'll do 1 each, won't it? It'll just go 1 each. And it'll swing 1 each. Zorlog tries to duck. Zorlog has an agility of +1. Zorlog gets a 13, which is awesome. Zorlog ducks under a blade that comes sweeping across the air. Zorlog ducks his simple priest-like robes flashing up in the air. Mork and Grok say, "Oh, put them away, Zorlog, put them away. Oh, dear me." The goo monster vomits into his own mouth. Mork, with his power armor, he needs to roll 16s to dodge it. No, Mork gets whacked by the Carnage Blade, which does D10 damage, and he has a D4 for the armor. The Carnage Blade does 8 points of damage. The armor only defends off of 1. He's got 7 hit points. He goes down to 0 hit points. They have no medical stuff. I will give them the basics of a test to see if he gets up at the end of this fight. Otherwise, he be dead. Grok in his heavy armor is going to go, oh god. Grok has an agility of 0. Grok needs to roll a 12 to defend. 3. Grok misses. Grok so busy looking at, he also has D4 armor, so busy looking at his buddy Mork going down with his power armor and the blood spurting out from his arterial wound, that he gets caught. He does get caught. 6 points. He's got 4 points. He goes down. The lads against the goo monster aren't doing very well. Okay. Goo monster does all that. Zorlog is going to go, oh, I shall blast your head. He's going to point at the goo monster. He's going to scream, die goo monster. He needs to roll a 12 for his power. He's used 1, so he's got 5 left. He needs to roll a 12 for his power. He's got a presence of 3, which means he needs to roll 9 on this for it to work. A 19 is outstanding. He does a D10 damage directly to the Goo Walker. He does 6 points, which is exactly what the Goo Walker had. The Goo Walker is going to scream, lift up all the arms, and then all of a sudden its eyes will go, all 6 of its eyes go dead wide. It goes, it's like the cat. When the cat, we're going to have to get rid of the cat because we're moving, aren't we? And we can't take the cat with us. It's really weird. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you rehome a cat. We're looking at stuff, but there must be a way in Sydney to rehome a cat nicely. But if I tell the cat off, because I've known it since I got it when it was a kitten, so it's only grown up with me. So I'm like it's very, very, very strict mother as me. So it does something, and Mandy will go, oh, and I'll go, no, and it will go, and sort of wander off. The Goo Walker says, oh, as its head explodes and mess just goes all over this beautiful park in the overgrown jungle of the Maiden's Lament. There's this goo goes everywhere. Zorlog goes, told ya. And now he's going to have to try and see if he can get Mork out and Grok up. So let's see. 1 to 3, Mork goes first. Nope. So Grok goes first, which means that he's going to have to roll 14s. He's going to have to roll 14s to get Mork up, because Grok goes first and Grok is being tended to. So he's going to go and try and tend to Grok. He needs to roll 12s. He's got a presence of +3. He's got nothing that will help. He's got a spray can and some hooch. So he's going to grab the cables that Grok has and he's going to try tying up the wound. Let's see, Grok had Grok was the second one, so Grok didn't have the arterial throat hit. Grok had, maybe we'll roll and see what damage he gets afterwards, what's wrong with him. He's going to grab the cables, shove the big hat in the wound, and pour some hooch on it, and he needs to roll, I said 12, so he needs to roll 9s. 10, excellent. He gets up on 1 hit point. So he is up, looking groggy on 1 hit point. We'll roll what damage they do afterwards. Now, to get Mork in his power armor up, he's going to have to roll 14, which means he's going to have to roll 11s. No, okay. He's still bleeding, which means that he needs to roll 16s, and then this is it. No, a natural 1. Natural 1. Natural 1. Zorlog goes, oops, and a head rolls off as the arterial bleed got a lot worse, and Mork's head's come off and rolled away. So he's going to so Zorlog will grab his cigars, because he likes to look at those, and his hooch, which will give Zorlog 10 cans. He's going to have, I said he smokes, he's going to have 7 cigars, and the lads are on their own. We're down by 1. Well, he's going to leave the drum. He doesn't give 2 hoots about the drum, but he will take the Triffid head. The only problem is with them killing, making the Goo Walker's head blow up, is they can't really take that for healing. Right, Grok is on 1 hit point. What damage can Grok take? So here we go. When you hit 0 hit points, you're down. You're toughest now, so you don't die until you hit -6. If no one comes to help you within or finish you off, you wake up in D6 hours, D6 hit points and a cracking headache, roll on the mangled table. He's tough as nails. We can give him another roll. No, I said he's died and his head fell off, so it is. So he is mangled. Something happened to Grok to make Grok mangled. What is that? He rolls D6. He has a 4, which means he's on -2 presence, as he's part of what was cut across the cheek, and so his gob is a bit mangled. So he's got a mangled gob, so we tick that because he's got a -2 presence. What he's got is he's got a slashed up face. He's got a slashed up face. He can remove it by replacing the damaged body part with a bionic prosthesis, which would be his head. I don't think you can replace your head, but his gob, his mouth, he could put like a metal grate over his mouth. He could get a metal grate put onto his mouth, and that would then make him not have his -2 presence, because of course no one's going to complain about someone with a metal mouth on him. So the surviving lads, Grok and Zorlog, have scavenged the body of Mork, who just complained all the time. He only had a knife, he was bloody useless. They're going, I don't know why we had him with us anyway. He was, as the narrator says, bloody useless. So we have found one special area so far. We haven't even left this little garden area yet. So we now move on, which means we need to do a raiding roll, which is 2d20 plus the number of special rooms we found, which is a 1. We are comparing it against our DR for the dungeon, for the crawl, which is a 12. If they both go above 12, we found another special area. No, we've got them both under 12, which is a fail. A fail means that something awful happens. Absolutely awful. Raiding. A fail. You had one jobby to do. Roll a trap, an encounter, or some environmental hazard. This happens to leave as you leave in the old area. So we're still in the old area. So we're leaving this sort of foresty jungly bit. Let's say we'll take that exit. And as we leave, let's say 1 or 2 is a trap, 3, 4 encounter, 5, 6 environmental hazard. 5, 6 something in environmental hazard of some kind. All right, we will roll verbs for our we'll roll verbs for our area and see what we can come up with for this special area where we are. So we're in the blooming mass is the special area where we are. So it's not an encounter. Let's roll an encounter. Well, we know they encounter the description because we've said it. It's a special area. There's all the jungle and everything. But let's say we're trying to leave that bit, which is a D8. Let's see what the D8 will come up with on this table. A 6. Rotten banners, elf script, fading under moss. Okay, so it's an environmental hazard we need to get past. So what it basically is the pathway to move on down this area is covered in slippery moss and those banners which have fallen down. And so we've got this long path which had all these pretty banners hanging at the top. They've collapsed down. We need to move down it and make a successful sort of, I was going to say a move roll, but that's Forbidden Lands because I played that yesterday. We need to make a successful agility test versus the difficulty of the dungeon, which is the TR of the dungeon, which is 12. So that's not the DR, that's the TR. So the TR is everything we're going to do tests against, which is a 12. So we need to make a 12 agility test, or we take damage. Take damage, or we'll lose something. I know. So if it's Grok that takes it, Grok's hand becomes all mangled up, and he needs to also repair the hand. If it's Zorlog, he can take, say, a D4 damage. So Zorlog needs to make a 12 because the TR is 12 test. He gets 13, 14. He nimbly moves through. Grok is in his Grok, the devourer of the dreaded geese. It's a thing that he says people he does. He tells people he devours the dreaded geese. No one's actually seen him with a goose head in his mouth, or actually it'd be the goose body dangling out of his mouth. No, I mean, he does apparently do something with geese, but no one likes to talk about it. No one likes to talk about what he does with the geese, but it involves his knock hole. Let's see if you've seen QI. He needs to make his test. He gets an 8, it fails. His cutter is gummed up. Okay, so to get to the other end, they are going to need to try and fix the cutter. So Zorlok is going to say, Zorlok can't fix the mangler because they need parts. And they haven't found any parts yet, they haven't found anything. But he's going to try and fix the cutter. He gets a 6, plus 3 is a 9. He fails to fix the cutter. The cutter can't be fixed this time. They're going to need to clear another area first. So now we get to roll again. After your second fail, count the result as an automatic weak hit. So if we fail this one, it's a weak hit. Still plus 1. So we get an 11, not enough. And we get a 3, not enough. So that is a fail. So we count it as a weak hit. And a weak hit is basically a normal area. We just move into the whole table and we come into a normal area. So we come into this area here. It's not a special area, it's a normal area. Let's roll on our Maiden's Lament. Our Maiden's Lament, we will say, what area is it? It's an area type D8. It's a 2. A 2 is an observation or command bridge. Let's make it an observation dome. It's an observation dome, so it's outside. So we've moved from this jungle, there was a passageway, maybe there's some stairs that went up, and we've come into an observation dome. So we won't say that there's any exits from the outside. Oh, I'll tell you what, we're going to make them roll a presence test against the DR of 12 to see they need a strong hit for there to be, they find an exit. Strong hit, 15-15, plus 3 is 18-18. They can find an exit. There's a small hatch which does exit this area, but there's an observation dome. So what is inside this observation dome? We will roll our area contents, which is a D8. We can see a 2 is area contents, jungle mixed with metal, the remains of something, roll verbs and names. Okay, there's something in here. Roll verbs and nouns. We will just do our generic verbs and nouns. So instead of being so I only printed out the Maiden's Lament. It is in the main book. If you buy, if you want to buy the GME now, you can go to DriveThruRPG or you can go to iCho. The link is in the description, but I'll also put it up there if future editing Pete, who's uploaded this to YouTube, can then do that, because that's a sort of a third tier task. If you buy it, you will buy it now. The Maiden's Lament will be part of the GME. I will then be adding, I can't remember what the next area, I think it's the human area and another area I'm planning on adding as after these car kit. We'll add that area and maybe some loot tables to have a version 3, and if you buy it now at the price, it's going to be 50 cents more expensive than it was before I added the Maiden's Lament. It will either be 50 cents or $1 more expensive by me adding those additional tables that next time. So buy it now, and all the additional ads of content that will go in, you get for free, because that's just how iCho and DriveThru works. Enough of my selling. I hope it doesn't turn your stomach to hear a person who is soon to be made redundant trying to sell something. So let's roll a verb. We want a D100 on the verbs table. We don't want, so there's a thing for action and change. You can just roll a D20. Or for more general, you can roll a D100. And for the nouns table, if you want something epic, just like a death metal album, you can roll a D20. Otherwise, you can roll a D100. So for instance, for the verbs, if we roll a D20, we get a 19. A 19 comes up with warp. You can either read that as the warp, or you can read that as something is warped. But anyway, verbs. This is the area. We've got a 30. 30 comes up with choke. So we've got choke. Okay, that sounds like the area is choked with something. And then we have nouns. So for instance, nouns, D20, death metal album, 17, the bleed. Or we could have 20, nat 20, orc hole. 6, wretch pit. All nice death metal albums. I loved making this table. This one, or that one's 20. The rest of it was just digging out words that would work. 90, we have rift. Choke, rift. Ooh. Oh, I know. What's 60? 60, how? Okay, so. All right, so there's that entrance there. So we have here, there is a spatial rift. There's a spatial rift inside this dome. If we go through the spatial rift, we will just appear somewhere else, and then we can then continue exploring from that point onwards. This is some sort of rift in space and time. We can see the fluttering, and if you look through it, Zorlok, being an imaginative, very adventurous priest, he's going to whack his head in and go, "Do you know this goes somewhere else on the Maiden's Lament? Because I can see it over there." They shout a lot, Yell priests. They don't really have a down switch. I think they've all got damaged ears from too much death metal when they went to university, because they stood next to the speakers like idiots, and now they have tinnitus. I maybe know what I'm speaking about, because I do have tinnitus from standing next to speakers. So they are going to go through that rift. Instead of taking that nice little exit there that we rolled, they're going to go through the rift and they're going to appear somewhere else. So I'll say the rift is here. If they can get, maybe there'll be some other rifts. The rift is going to come up here, over here. They'll step through, and as they step through, they will make another braiding roll. Where's the Mother Green one? Again 12s, again +1, so that's a success. So this is a special area. So that rift opens up into a special area. So our special areas go to 2. We could roll on our normal special areas, just our generic special areas table in our generic data. What we got? Oh yeah, area exits. I've not been rolling area exits, I've just been making it up instead of rolling on area exits. So we'll go, this area here is a special area. I'm going to roll on this table now because otherwise I'll forget because I'm thick. We've got a 1, we've got 2 special areas, so there's 1 exit to this area here. Where is the generic special areas table? What's that? That's area contents, that's area types, we've got area adjectives. Oh, I don't have special areas, do I? Div. What you do with this and solitary and special and solitary defilement is you just roll in a normal area. So this is a special area, so we're going to make it something special, but we'll roll on the generic areas table. The generic areas table is a D20, D12 rather, and 11. We have either meat farm, hydroponics, gut waste recycling. I think hydroponics fits the Maiden's Lament rather than a meat farm or a gut waste recycling. It's a hydroponics, so there might be stuff, so they can have, so that's what the area type is. Let's do an area contents on the generic, which is a D12, which is a 3. Surprise event, ambush party, fight already in progress. Oh, all right. We're gonna have something. Where's our yes no? Right, our yes no oracle. We roll a d20. I think this is likely, so I'm going to roll 2 d20. We'll take the highest. Are there 2 groups of goblin scavengers fighting over some medical supplies? Highest is a 7. I think it's a no. No, but it's not as easy as that. Throw something. Okay, there is 1 group of goblins. So in here we've got 1 group of goblins fighting with, and I'm going to roll enemies from the Maiden's Lament. So they're fighting with some enemies in the Maiden's Lament, which is D6, a 1, which is D4 elf hunters, 3. So there are 3 elf hunters. They're injured, and there's 2d6 goblins. They're flipping heck. There's not. We're going to say there's 6, and there's 6 goblins, not 12 goblins, and they're fighting over some medical supplies that we can then use to heal both Zorlog and Grok. They can both get a heal from the medical supplies. In this hydroponics with an exit, there's a massive fight going on. They're shooting at each other. The elves are actually in the core without the Maiden's Lament. So you've also got, I think there's 3 pages, 1, 2, there's 3 pages of enemies, but now there's 4 pages because there's the Maiden's Lament. Each area I'll add 1 or 2 area specific enemies that I've either made myself or I've reskinned from either cyborg, Mork Borg or any of the other Borgs. So they're all reasonable. So we will say we've got 3 elves. We can say 1 has a cannon and 2 have swords. They have 7 hit points each, but we're going to say that they have taken D6. First one has taken 5 points, so it's got 2 hit points. The second one has taken 2 hit points, so it's got 5. And the third one has taken 5, so it's got 2 hit points left. And then we've got the 6 goblins. Goblins come from the core book. They are called Bug-Eyed Goblins. They have 4 hit points. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have D4 shiv. Alright, so we are standing there, the 2 of us, and we're going to watch them. We will give them a round of combat against each other, and then we will say, so we'll give the goblins a go at attacking the elves, and then the elves a go at attacking the goblins, and then we'll get involved with who stands up. So we are going to say, so I've got 3 D6, 3 D12s here. This is the elves attacking the goblins. So for each one of these, they need to roll a 12 for this goblin to avoid getting stabbed up. So 3 of them get hit, and then we've got 1 survives and the other 2 get hit. So 5 of them are going to get hit. So we will do 2 D8s and 3 D6, and we'll assign these to each of them. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 die, 1 stays. 1, 2, 3, 4 die, 1 stays. It took 1 point, so it's now down to 3 hit points. So the 2 remaining goblins are going to try and attack the elves. They can only attack 2 of the elves, so both of the elves, 2 of the elves have to roll 12. So both of the elves dodge them. So we're now going to have a fight with the elves. Now we can get involved. We are going to charge in and attack the elves. The elf with the gun is going to get, Zorlog is going to point at it and shout, "You pointy-eared freak, die!" He needs to get a 9. No, he fails, so he needs to make a 9. No, he fails, so he takes 2 points of damage. 1 point of damage, and taking him to a 4, and he cannot use his powers for the rest of today. And Grok is going to charge in. He doesn't have his cutter because it's broken, so he gets a D4. He's just going to try and batter the one with the cannon to dead. He needs to roll a 13. No, okay. I think our lads are going to get killed. So they fail. And then the one with the cannon is going to try and shoot Zorlog. 11 plus 1 is a 12, so Zorlog ducks as the shot goes wide, and then both of the sword ones are going to turn and attack Grok, who's standing upright with them. So Grok needs to roll 13s, no, he just needs to roll 12s. First one, he ducks it, second one, he ducks it. And then the goblins are going to try attacking. One goblin will try attacking us. It misses us, and then we'll try attacking the elves. The elves miss it as well. So the goblins are sort of trying to stab us up. Everyone's missing, so we go again. Zorlog can't use his head popper, so instead he's going to use his smasher and attempt to hit the one with the gun. He needs to roll 12 plus 1, so he needs to roll 11s. What did we get? A 2? No, he misses. And then Grok is going to try and whack over the head the one with the sword who tried to stab him. Grok misses, and so all the elves get to try and shoot us again. The one with the gun is going to try and shoot Zorlog. Zorlog dodges it. The sword tries to stab Grok. Grok dodges it. Does he dodge it? Yep, he does. And then the other one gets him, so does a D6 damage against Grok, who only has 1 hit point, but he does have his heavy armor. Armor defense from 3. He takes 5. He goes down. We now have the 2 goblins. The 2 goblins attack the elves. The elves need to roll 12. First elf fails, and so he's going to take D6 damage. Second elf fails. He's going to take D6 damage. So this is 2 against the first 2 elves. The first elf has 2 hit points. The first elf goes down. The second elf has 5 hit points. The second elf goes down. Okay. The one with the cannon and the one with the sword goes down. We have 2 goblins standing and 1 elf standing and 1 orc standing. Zorlog. Zorlog is going to see that the elf who's standing is the most biggest threat he can see. Zorlog needs to roll a 12. He's got a +1 because he's got no armor on, so he needs to roll 11s to kill that elf. 12 is a stabsies up. He does a d6 damage. He's got 2 hit points. He does 2 hit points exactly. That elf goes down. We have 2 goblins who are now going to attempt to stab up Zorlog. Zorlog is going to try and dodge them. He's got an agility of 1, so he needs to roll 11s. He gets 2 misses. They do a d4 damage. He does not have any armor. He has 4 hit points remaining. They do 8 hit points on Zorlog. Zorlog has 2 goblins who dive on top of him and start stabbing him up. His beautiful robes go a horrible... I'm going to have to do those new areas this week, aren't I? Goes a horrible pinky colour. What session was this? This was session 6. Alright, so we've got 4 more sessions, so we could probably do another area, which is alright. As Zorlog, our gravy beard coated priest and his other 2 buddies sadly are for the end of this world. They get to scavenge a triffid head, some cigars and some hooch, and these 2 surviving goblins get the medical supplies that they can repair themselves, get a cannon, 2 swords, a boombox, and a whole load of other goodies that they can take back to their people and say, "Look what we got, we're great, we are, we're so hard." Weren't there 12 of you?
Yeah, no, there's only 2 of us that survived, but we've got a lot of stuff. We've got an awful lot of stuff.
There's a lot of toes you got around your neck.
I know, they're goblin toes, they look great, don't they? We're thinking of starting an Etsy store.
And that's it. So that's Orc Borg. Orc Borg is, so it's your standard Orc Borg. Life is short, but the fun is great. The hooch flows and the cigars get lit and puffed in an inappropriate way for modern media. Thank you so much for being a subscriber if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, do consider subscribing. Orc Borg and the other Borgs are quite good. Normally things are a bit more structured the way we do things, but Orc Borg just plays this way. Fast and furious fun. Actually, that's a different one, isn't it? But we're going to play that one soon. If you are not a subscriber, do consider subscribing. I might have just said that, but I don't script these things. I make stuff up as I go along and I forget things quite easily. There should be a subscribe thing that comes down the bottom. That would be great if you've watched this far and you subscribe. It would be lovely. It helps the channel grow. It helps people know about all this nonsense that I do. Thank you so much to the Adventurers Guild for supporting me. They financially support the channel, which is awesome because, as I mentioned earlier on, it might be more important than I thought. And if you would like to join the Adventurers Guild to get early access to the videos, there's some chats that go on. I do posts that only the members know. And for the GMEs, I'm going to try and find some discounts for the GMEs for the members. I'm sure I can do it at some point using DriveThru. I just haven't had the time opportunity to look at it. And that would be it really. Thank you so much for your support, all of you, and for your watch time. Next week, episode 7, we will send a crew into a different part of the Derelict with a little bit of a different flavour and see what we find there. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. See ya.